In a world where line cutters think they can skip ahead just because of a VIP status, one man is here to bring justice. Keanu Reeves, with his calm yet determined demeanor, steps in to remind us all that no one is above the rules, not even the entitled. Watch as he saves the day, showing that respect for others always comes first, no matter who you are. It's not about status, it's about fairness. And Keanu's here to make sure everyone gets their turn. If you like stories like this, please like, subscribe, and click that bell so you never miss the next upload. The convention hall buzzed with a palpable energy. It was a symphony of sounds. The excited chatter of fans, the click of camera shutters, the low hum of the convention sound system. Posters of superheroes, anime characters, and, of course, Keanu Reeves adorned the walls, creating a vibrant tapestry of pop culture. The air crackled with anticipation. Today was the day, the Keanu Reeves meet and greet. The line for the meet and greet was, to put it mildly, epic. It snaked its way through the vast convention hall like a benevolent anaconda, a testament to Keanu's enduring popularity. Fans of all ages and backgrounds stood patiently, clutching their prized possessions. Posters, action figures, graphic novels, and well-worn copies of their favorite Keanu Reeves movies. Some had been queuing for hours since the crack of dawn, armed with snacks, drinks, and a shared sense of camaraderie. The chance to meet Keanu, even briefly, to exchange a few words or get an autograph, was a dream come true for many. Among the crowd was a young woman named Emily. She'd been a Keanu fan since she was a teenager, ever since she'd first seen him as the lovable Ted Theodore Logan in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. She'd followed his career through the years, captivated by his diverse roles, from the action hero Neo in The Matrix to the romantic lead in A Walk in the Clouds. But it wasn't just his acting that drew her to him. She also admired his quiet dignity, his apparent kindness, and his genuine respect for his fans. She'd read stories about his charitable work, his random acts of kindness, and his down-to-earth demeanor. She clutched a well-loved copy of Speed, the movie that had solidified her fandom, hoping to get it signed. Emily had arrived early, securing a spot roughly halfway down the line. She chatted with the fans around her, sharing stories about their favorite Keanu movies, debating the merits of Point Break versus My Own Private Idaho, and discussing the actor's impact on their lives. The atmosphere was friendly and convivial, a shared sense of excitement uniting them all. They were all Keanu fans, and they were all in this together. But as the line slowly inched forward, a sense of impatience began to ripple through the crowd. Everyone was eager to meet Keanu, of course, but some were more eager than others. The closer they got to the front, the more the anticipation seemed to intensify. Nerves began to fray, and a subtle undercurrent of tension began to emerge. One man in particular was becoming increasingly agitated. He paced back and forth along the edge of the line, muttering under his breath, checking his watch repeatedly. He wore an expensive suit, and his demeanor suggested a sense of entitlement. He seemed determined to get to the front of the line as quickly as possible, regardless of who he had to step on to get there. This man, who introduced himself to no one, was a study in impatience. He fidgeted. He sighed dramatically. He complained about the slow pace of the line to anyone within earshot. He even tried to subtly inch his way forward, edging past other fans with feigned apologies and insincere smiles. No one challenged him at first. They were all trying to be polite, to maintain the friendly atmosphere. But his behavior was becoming increasingly irritating, a constant source of low-level annoyance. Finally, the inevitable happened. As the line rounded a corner, creating a momentary bottleneck, the impatient man saw his opportunity. He saw a gap, a chance to cut ahead of several fans who had been waiting patiently for hours. He seized it. With a quick shuffle and a mumbled, "Excuse me," he inserted himself into the line, effectively cutting in front of a group of people who had been waiting patiently for hours. A collective groan rippled through the nearby fans. A young boy who had been standing with his mother looked up at the line cutter with a disappointed expression. "Hey," he said, his voice small but firm. "You can't do that. We've all been waiting." The man turned, his face a mask of annoyance. "Look, kid," he said, his voice sharp. "I'm in a hurry. I don't have time for this." He looked down at the boy dismissively, as if his time was inherently more valuable than anyone else's. The boy's mother stepped forward, her expression equally firm. "That's not fair," she said. "Everyone here is waiting patiently. You need to go to the back of the line." She wasn't going to let this man get away with his rude behavior. The man scoffed. "Look, lady," he said. "I'm a VIP. I have connections. I don't have to wait in line like everyone else." He puffed out his chest slightly, trying to assert his imagined importance. He gestured dismissively at the crowd, his tone condescending. "Besides," he added, "Keanu would want to meet me first anyway." He seemed to genuinely believe that his presence was so significant that Keanu would make an exception for him. A ripple of indignation went through the crowd. This man's arrogance was beyond the pale. He wasn't just cutting in line, he was belittling everyone else who had been waiting respectfully. He was acting as if he was somehow superior to them, as if his time was more valuable than theirs. Just then, a hush fell over the crowd. Keanu Reeves himself emerged from behind the curtain where he had been taking a short break. He walked towards the front of the line, greeting fans with a warm smile and a friendly wave. He looked genuinely happy to be there, genuinely appreciative of the fans' support. He noticed the commotion immediately. He saw the impatient man standing near the front, and he saw the expressions of annoyance and frustration on the faces of the fans nearby. He paused, his gaze taking in the scene, assessing the situation with a quiet intensity. He walked directly to the spot where the man had cut in line, and he addressed him in a calm, even voice, loud enough for everyone to hear. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't make a scene. He simply spoke with clarity and firmness. "Excuse me," Keanu said politely. "I believe there's been a slight misunderstanding." The man turned, his face now a mixture of smugness and anticipation. He seemed to think that Keanu was about to acknowledge his VIP status, to usher him to the front of the line. But Keanu didn't. "Everyone here," Keanu continued, gesturing towards the patiently waiting fans, "has been waiting their turn to meet me. They've been here for hours, some since early this morning. They've been incredibly respectful and patient, and I deeply appreciate their dedication." He emphasized the word everyone, making it clear that no one was exempt from the rules of common courtesy. He paused, his gaze meeting the man's. "Cutting in line," he said, his voice still calm but firm, "is disrespectful to everyone who's been waiting their turn. It's not fair, and it's not something I condone." He delivered the message with quiet authority, making it clear that he meant what he said. The man's face flushed crimson. His smugness evaporated, replaced by a wave of embarrassment. He realized that Keanu wasn't going to endorse his behavior. He was calling him out on it, subtly but effectively. The crowd, which had been silent until then, murmured its approval. Keanu then turned to the fans who had been directly behind the line cutter. "I apologize for the inconvenience," he said sincerely. "I appreciate your patience." He wanted to acknowledge their frustration, to show them that he valued their time. He then addressed the entire crowd. "I want to meet each and every one of you," he said, "but I want to do it in a way that's fair and respectful to everyone. So please, let's all continue to wait our turns, and we'll make sure everyone gets a chance to say hello." He smiled warmly at the crowd, and a ripple of applause went through the line. The man who had cut in line, thoroughly shamed, slunk to the back of the queue, his earlier arrogance replaced by a palpable sense of humiliation. He had learned a valuable lesson, not from a shouting match or a public shaming, but from a quiet act of correction, a gentle reminder of the importance of respect. Keanu then spent a few extra moments with the fans who had been directly affected by the line cutter's behavior. He chatted with them, signed their memorabilia, and made sure they felt appreciated. He even took a photo with the young boy who had first challenged the line cutter, making his day and reinforcing the message that even the smallest voice can make a difference. As the meet and greet continued, the atmosphere was transformed. The earlier impatience had vanished. replaced by a renewed sense of camaraderie and respect. Everyone understood that Keanu's message had been clear. Everyone's time was valuable, and everyone deserved to be treated with fairness and consideration. It wasn't about celebrity worship. It was about basic human decency. It was about recognizing that everyone, regardless of their status or perceived importance, deserved to be treated with respect. Emily, who had witnessed the entire exchange, felt a surge of admiration for Keanu. She had always respected him as an actor, but now she respected him even more as a person. He hadn't just called out someone's bad behavior. He had subtly taught a valuable lesson about respect and empathy. He had shown, through his actions and his words, that kindness and consideration were more important than anything else. When Emily finally reached the front of the line, she was a little nervous. She'd rehearsed what she wanted to say 100 times in her head. But now, face to face with Keanu, she felt a sudden rush of shyness. But Keanu's warm smile and genuine interest immediately put her at ease. He looked at her as if she was the only person in the room, his attention focused solely on her. She told him how much his work meant to her, how his movies had inspired her through difficult times, and he listened patiently, his eyes meeting hers, making her feel like she was truly heard. He didn't rush the interaction. He took the time to connect with her on a personal level. He signed her copy of Speed, adding a personal message. To Emily, keep your speed up. Best, Keanu Reeves. He then asked her about her favorite movie of his, and they had a brief, friendly conversation about The Matrix and its philosophical themes. As Emily walked away from the meet and greet, clutching her signed movie poster, she felt a sense of contentment. She had met Keanu Reeves, and he had lived up to all her expectations. He was kind, he was gracious, and he was genuinely appreciative of his fans. He was everything she had hoped he would be, and more. And she had also witnessed a small but significant act of social justice, a quiet reminder that even in a crowded convention hall, even in the midst of celebrity worship, basic human decency still mattered. It wasn't about fame or fortune. It was about treating others with kindness and respect, regardless of who they are or what they do. It was about recognizing the inherent worth of every individual. And sometimes, all it took was a gentle nudge, a quiet word of correction to remind people of that simple truth. Sometimes, all it took was a celebrity using his platform to stand up for what's right, to make a small but significant difference in the world. And Emily knew, as she walked out of the convention hall, that she would never forget the lesson she had learned that day. The lesson of kindness, the lesson of respect, and the lesson of the line cutter's karma. It was a lesson she would carry with her long after the excitement of the meet and greet had faded, a reminder that even small acts of kindness can have a profound impact. She thought about the man who had cut in line. She hoped he had learned something too, that the quiet correction from Keanu had resonated with him, that he would think twice before acting with such entitlement again. She hoped he would understand that being a VIP didn't give him the right to treat others with disrespect. She smiled, thinking of the young boy and his mother. She hoped that the boy had learned a valuable lesson as well, that even in the face of rudeness, a calm and respectful response, supported by quiet action, could make a difference. She realized that Keanu's influence extended beyond just the man who cut in line. It touched everyone who witnessed the interaction, a gentle ripple of kindness spreading through the crowd, a reminder of how we should treat one another. The incident had subtly shifted the atmosphere of the convention hall. The initial tension had dissipated, replaced by a more palpable sense of community and mutual respect. Even the chatter seemed to have taken on a more positive tone, infused with a shared understanding of the importance of kindness. As Emily walked out into the bright sunshine, the convention hall shrinking behind her, she felt a renewed sense of hope, a belief in the power of kindness, and a deep appreciation for the quiet dignity of Keanu Reeves. She knew that the memory of this day, of this small but significant event, would stay with her. It was a reminder that even in a world that often seemed focused on self-promotion and individual gain, there were still people who cared about others. People who were willing to stand up for what's right, even in a quiet, unassuming way. It was a reminder that kindness and respect still mattered, that they were values worth upholding, even in the midst of a crowded convention. And as she walked away, she carried with her not just a signed movie poster, but a valuable lesson. A quiet understanding that even small acts of kindness, even subtle corrections, could ripple outwards, creating a more positive and respectful world, one interaction at a time. She smiled, thinking of Keanu's quiet words, his gentle but firm correction. It was a lesson in humility, a reminder that even those in the public eye were still subject to the same basic principles of human decency. And it was a lesson that she, and hopefully everyone who witnessed it, would carry with them long after the convention was over. A quiet reminder of the power of kindness and the importance of treating everyone with respect.